it goes into a lot of things that are culturally toxic about various different ways that men try to have and try to get sex from women. We have to talk about the allegations made against Andrew Callaghan and what those are and what has been said. We're going to say what he claims is happening. We're going to listen to what has happened. So let's go ahead and get into it. Andrew Callaghan, journalist, documentarian, and host of YouTube's All Gas No Breaks, or former host of that, and host of Channel 5, has recently been accused of a sexual misconduct by multiple women. In December of 2022, he released his debut documentary, This Place Rules, which follows Callaghan as he examines the events that led up to the January 6th Capitol riot. He's often credited with employing styles of gonzo journalism, where a reporter is heavily involved in the narrative of a news story. From inappropriate comments to coercion to sexual assault, the claims against Callaghan are spreading on social media, specifically on Reddit and TikTok. The first to come forward was Caroline Elsey, known as Cornbread Casserole, on TikTok. We will switch over to her account has since gone private on TikTok, but we will switch over to the the Twitter thread that I originally heard these on and listen to it now. You have been warned. This deals with sexual assault and content warning and all that jazz. So if you do not want to hear about this, now is your chance to bail.
I never in a million years thought that I would be making this video, and I'm shaking because I've tried a couple different times and haven't been able to get my point across, but I don't like seeing abusers get platforms. And my abuser, Andrew Callaghan, also known as All Gas No Breaks, Channel 5, and whatever his new HBO show's called, I forget, has been plastered all over my news feed, and I've tried to come to him person to person and try to get him to take accountability for what he did, but his version of what happened the night that he assaulted me is so skewed. So I will tell you that he did eventually get consent. And that's the main point, is that he eventually got consent because he wore me down. He told me he needed...
This isn't good. This isn't good. Even if you want to say that, well, whatever about that, that's not a good thing. And there's more to this than what this one video is stating, because there's other people that have come forward, and we're going to get into that. This is still not a good thing to happen, and it's scummy.
A place to stay for the night. He had some sort of falling out with one of his crew members or whatever, and I was very clear about the fact that we are not hooking up. He gets in my bed and wears me down to the point where I eventually do agree to do things that I wasn't proud of. And I wasn't proud of them and thought it was my fault for so long that I continued to be nice to him after the situation. He wouldn't leave my house the next morning. And then as time went on and I processed things, I thought, you know what, just because eventually I said, okay, whatever, because I was trying to just get the whole night over with so that it could be morning so that he could leave. It doesn't discount the fact that I told him no. So I told him no so many times prior to this. I said, I'm tired. I'm not really feeling it. I came up with any excuse that I possibly could to just get him off of me. And he still found a way to coerce me into things that I didn't want to do. And this is really hard for me to say. I never thought I would come forward, but it's even more hard to have to relive the trauma that I endured every single day by seeing this man as a social justice warrior, as someone who cares about human rights, get a platform. You shouldn't be supporting him. And at the end of the day, like, I've told close friends of mine, I've tried coming out about this before, and he texted me saying that it basically ruined his life and that his life was over now because of things that I said, and other women have come forward to me, but this is my first time publicly talking about it on a platform like TikTok, because I hope it gets traction. I hope people listen to me. I hope that if something similar has happened to you, that you know that that's not your fault. It wasn't my fault what happened to me, just because I eventually...
Okay, so that was definitely hard to watch, and I am commending her for coming forward, even in this time where it's a lot more probably dangerous for her to do so now, if that makes sense. But there's more of this. There's more of this that we have to cover. So another TikToker, Donna, shared a similar experience. According to Donna, she and Callaghan had engaged in sexual activity beforehand. However, she told him that she was no longer interested in continuing to do so after he exhibited, quote, mean and demeaning behavior. We will get to her part of this. This is still up on TikTok. Her account is not private, but it is showing consistency between the stories of what is being reported here. So when he invited her to a restaurant in order to apologize for this, he repeatedly asked her if they could have sex in her car afterwards. According to Donna, she told Callaghan no, but she would still drive him home. However, once in the car, he allegedly forced himself onto her. Quote, he proceeded to put his hands down my pants. I told him to stop. I told him to get off of me multiple times. He tried to put my hands, her hands, down his pants. I was fighting against him. Callaghan then eventually left the vehicle after Denner refused his request to perform oral sex. Elsie and Donna are not the only women who have come forward with sexual assault misconduct allegations against Callaghan. The Reddit channel, Channel 5 subreddit details countless claims of harassment and assault stemming back to at least 2019. The journalist's alleged history of sexual coercion and misconduct appears to be consistent. We're going to turn over now to listen to Donna's words.
So, I told him I would take him home because he lived close by, but that I did not want to have sex in my car at all. I did not want to have sex with him again, ever. And after we got to my car, he started advancing towards me, started touching my inner thigh, and pulled me forward, started kissing my neck. So I really couldn't move out of the position.
Now, the reason why we are playing these videos is because it's important to listen to the actual things that have happened from the victims in their own words. As hard it is maybe to hear these things, again, like I just said, it is important to actually listen to them and give the weight of their words the due consideration that they are entitled to. Not just deserve, entitled to. Especially when they come forward in a public manner that puts them potentially at risk for harassment from other people, especially fans of a fairly famous YouTuber. It's just important to do. So we're going to let her continue on with her own words, but I just wanted to make that point extremely clear.
He was holding me like tightly, and he proceeded to put his hand down my pants. I told him to stop. I told him to get off of me multiple times. He tried to put my hand down his pants, and I was, fighting against him during this, told him to please stop. And he said, you could at least suck my dick. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. Get out of my car. At that point, it was, I'm not taking you home anymore. Get the fuck out of my car. And he just got mad, really. He was mad that I would even say that. But at the same time, he was laughing at me. And continued to try to kiss me and was like, are you serious? Come on. Yeah. It was not fun. So I told him to get out of my car again. He wouldn't get out. And he said, you could at least take me home. So I realized at this point I would not be able to physically push him out of my car. So I started driving quickly and erratically down the road.
And this is important. There is just a physical power difference between most men and most women. It's just a fact of life. And the inability to physically remove somebody from your presence is not a thing that I think honestly a lot of men realize is just an inherently intimidating factor in all these things. Just wanted to mention that as well.
I pulled into a busier street and I stopped abruptly, thinking, like maybe someone will realize something is wrong, or if someone is honking at me, like he'll feel uncomfortable and want to leave the car. But I guess it did make him uncomfortable that I did that, and I told him to get the fuck out of my car. Um, and he was like, "Can I at least get a kiss goodbye?" And I said, "Fuck no, get the fuck out." He left. Never spoke to him or saw him again.
Okay. Before we move on to what he says about this, because we have to report on it, not that we necessarily believe it, not that I necessarily believe what he's saying. I'm going to say that when I heard these things for the first time, I 100% believed them for a number of different reasons. I believe them because they came out publicly and put a face to it. I believe them because this, honestly, and this is the biggest important part of it, the reputation stuff, whatever, right? For someone of his age, for a guy of his age, this is honestly pretty typical behavior for a man to be engaged in. It goes into a lot of things that are culturally toxic about whatever you want to call it, the various different ways that men try to have and try to get sex from women. I don't care how you label it. That's what's going on. And it's this really bad idea that women play hard to get and that it is a man's job in order to get her to acquiesce, in order for her not to feel bad. And a lot of that thinking can lead to shit like this. It doesn't excuse what he did at all. Do not get me wrong. I am not excusing it. I am saying that I believe what is being said here because this kind of behavior is so typical. It is a problem with our culture, and it is why Me Too came into existence. It's why the tag, the other one, Yes All Daughters, came into existence, because this is very typical of the kind of things that people engage in. Absolutely nobody should be pressured into having sex. Full stop. No pressure into having sex. And that's what happened here. And that's what tried to be done with this other woman. It's just not good. It's not good to do. This is why a lot of people have said get enthusiastic consent or to engage in anything. And if you don't have it, disengage because of stuff like this. And we need to, as a society, talk to teenage boys, young men, about all the kind of, that they have engaged in, either in the past or are engaged in now because of what they're doing. And try to get them to understand that these things are just not appropriate. That pressuring somebody is not appropriate. That playing hard to get isn't a thing that is done in this kind of way as being described by these two women and others that came forward through text. And it's just something we shouldn't tolerate. We should tell people, we need to rectify this situation. And we need to quit allowing people like Andrew Tate telling young boys and young men that kind of thing is the proper way to go about trying to hook up. It's not. We need to counter it. So I am going to do my part as much as I can to address these wider social issues within my tiny little social circle, as well as on this channel. So you can expect to see more content driven at trying to correct some of these things and also help with men's issues that are outside of this. This is a particular men's issue that needs to be addressed, but there's other issues that need to be addressed as well. And hopefully I can do my small part to changing how these things are approached. So we're going to now go over to what the claim is from TMZ about what is transpiring here. But again, as of right now, I believe these accusations. So I have not read this response yet. This happened I found out about this right before we went live. We're going to cover it live for y'all. But just note that right now, as of right now, with the evidence that we have, with the accusations that we have, with the text messages that are out there, and the kind of things that are happening, this is where we're at. Let's go ahead and cover that now. So accordingly, he's saying the victims asked for money. So Andrew Callaghan, the All Gas No Brakes host and star of the HBO documentary This Place Rules, is responding to sexual assault misconduct allegations against him, claiming one of the victims asked him for serious dough before making her accusation public. A source with direct knowledge tells us Caroline requested money from Andrew, referencing the fat check he got from HBO for his documentary. He allegedly asked to be paid just minutes before the document aired. We're told that Andrew didn't pay up, and Caroline uploaded a TikTok a few days later, urging others to come forward, which is exactly what happened. Andrew's legal rep tells us he vows to do better with balanced communications and improve himself, and wants to remind his audience that while even one concerned partner is too many, there are always multiple sides to a story. So, to me, he's admitting it here. That's what that sounds like to me as well. I had not read this previously. So in my opinion, he's actually admitting to what happened, or at least the majority of what's been said here, as well as other YouTubers that have claimed to be in contact with him have also said that he is essentially admitted to what he's being accused of here in these allegations. That's just, oh no, like, I don't, like, personally, as bad as it might seem, I don't really care that the woman asked for money. I don't like blackmail. Blackmail is bad. But yeah, it's just, if he's done these things, he needs to atone for them. And that is something that we all must do if we've ever done anything similar, either regardless of how it's happened. So yeah,